Here we go.
Now, I was so hyped for this movie. The original teaser trailer that dropped set this movie up perfectly. A mysterious, romantic kind of watch. It gave you an idea of what the movie was about, and that's all I kind of needed to know, and also the fact that it's from the people behind Barbarian. I see that, and I'm immediately thinking, okay, this is going to be some twisted new horror thriller. One of the hardest things to do as a movie fan is separating your expectations from what your overall thoughts on the movie are, because once you go into that door, you kind of just have to leave the expectations at the door and just let the movie take you on the journey it's going to. So when you come out of a movie that you were excited for and you feel like it did disappoint you, it's hard to kind of just look at the movie without that disappointment view. But I think it's important to separate it from that and just examine the movie on its own merit and putting expectations to the side. What are the overall my thoughts on the movie? I'm telling you all this because I was disappointed leaving Companion. I thought that the marketing did the movie a total disservice. There's a lot of layers to my thoughts on the movie because you have the disappointment factor, you have the fact that the marketing misleads you, and then of course, how does the movie work on its own terms? I think you're going to enjoy this movie more if you go in completely blind. Unfortunately for me, and I think many of you too, the second trailer that they released, even though I didn't watch it, people were talking about it online, and it's really hard to stay away from it. It just happens. The algorithm happens. So ultimately, I did see the twist, and I won't spoil it in case you haven't seen it. But I think the experience of the movie itself only really works if you kind of see that as a surprise. And movies that only work on the twist itself are really tricky. One of the most famous examples I would say is The Sixth Sense. That is a movie that, even though whether you've been spoiled about the ending or the twist, you can still repeatedly rewatch that movie because it works on its own terms. It doesn't totally need the twist to work. It works as a drama, an exploration of trauma. It's not the case with Companion though. Once the reveal happens, it feels like there's no fun to be had anymore. I kept hoping that there would be more twists and turns like with Barbarian. That's not the case. Aside from the twist itself, does it offer any commentary on the technology aspect of it? No, it doesn't. Nothing new, at least. Nothing that I found myself really chewing on and thinking, oh, that was interesting. And it's just not smart. I feel like I continuously knew where it was going, and I was almost laughing at the silliness of it. In that regard, I could see it working for some as a dark comedy, but for me, it didn't work. I think the cast is really good overall. You have Sophie Thatcher in the lead, who does elevate the material, and she really sells the performance and the creepiness of it. But I really hate what the marketing did with this movie, setting it up as a horror movie. It's not that. If you're expecting a horror movie, you're going to be disappointed. I honestly probably didn't even need to know that it was from the people behind Barbarian, and I think that would have really checked my expectations more. And why spoil the big setup for the movie? Because then if you know it, you feel like there's no tension throughout the experience. Now I understand it's obviously all about selling tickets and getting butts in seats, but all of that is just at what cost at the end of the day? Does a studio care? No, but I think audiences like me are going to be disappointed that the movie wasn't as twisted of an experience as it was kind of setting it up to be. But again, even on its own terms, I think that the movie has some weird jump cuts. An interesting story about my experience with watching Companion was that the fire alarm went off about 45 minutes into the movie. That was a first for me that had never happened before. When we got back to the theater and they rewinded it, not once but twice, because we thought that the movie kept playing during the time that we were outside waiting for it to be all good to go back in. And when we got back, we felt that there was a chunk of time that we didn't see. And it turns out that wasn't even the case. There was just a quick jump cut from a character getting attacked to then being completely fine. It felt as though there was just a portion that just got completely forgotten about. And it was no simple injury, it was pretty severe. Just the odd jump cuts take you out of the experience even more. But in the end, working as a sci-fi thriller in and of itself, it's just not smart. It doesn't offer any new commentary, and it doesn't lead for an engaging experience. And one that, aside from it being disappointing, I think it's just going to be forgettable and just forgotten about. I'm going to give Companion a C-, and if you're really interested in the movie, I would just recommend streaming it. Otherwise, skip it. It's a shame that this one was disappointing for me, but hey, it might work for you. Let me know down below. What did you think of the movie if you've seen it? I want to thank you so much for watching this review, and as always, look forward to more content coming soon. My name is Ben. People call me Meter, and I'll see you guys in the next one.